Hi guys, we just released our brand new feature in Aimcademy called the Editor. And in it, you can create your own task, customize it, share it with your friends, and compete versus others. So let's take a deep dive into it. Where we started is we click on Community Trainings, and here we can already see the tasks of the others. Some are actually good, some are actually terrible, but right now we want to create our own task. We go to Editor and to create new. And here we can already see the sandbox, the task editor. On the right side, we have now a few options, a few layers of what we can actually adjust in the task. On the top, we can see the mode, the targets, the spawn area, and so on. And now we take a deep dive into every one of them. And I'll give you a few hints of why certain options make sense and why some options might be trash. But the beauty is you have the actual choice on what you want to create. So you can also create trash if you just want to. Let's dive into it. The first option is pretty simple. It's the mode. Do you have to track a target? You have to follow it. Or do you have to click on it in order to destroy it? And by clicking on those options, we already changed the layers below. Very important. We now have a few options. Either we make the target's health unlimited, or we have a constant health, meaning in this case we have to track the target for 1 second in order to destroy it. But I think 1 second might be a little too long for our task now, so we'll trim it down to 0.5 seconds. The second option is the count. How many targets do we actually want? 1 is a little bit too less, maybe go for 2. We can also go to 20, which might be a little bit too much, so we stick to 2 for now. The next part is the actual spawn area, where the target spawns and where it actually moves. And we have a few options. We have the blue indicator that shows what the spawn area actually is. We can trim it down, we can trim the depth, we can trim the width or the height. We can create a small box or even just a line if you want to, where the target spawns and moves. In this case, for example, it would be a small, just horizontally moving target. Or in our case, it would be 2 because we have a target count of 2. But we just want to create a small box where the target can spawn. Now we go down to the target behaviors. How the target actually moves inside the box. Do we want a static or a dynamic task? We click on an adaptive size. We now have a size at level 200 and a size at level 500. Let's make it a little bit more aggressive, and I want to show you the actual relationship in Paint, how it actually looks. Right here we have a relationship between the size, or in other words, the difficulty, let's call it S for size, and the level. The harder the level will be, the smaller the size will be. This means right here the target is very, very big. Right here it's very, very small. And the low level, it starts very, very huge. Let's say that's the level 200. But as we move on, as we keep progressing, it's getting smaller and smaller and smaller. Right here we have level 500. And right here the target is very, very small. We can also just test the task now with this button right here. So we start at level 200. We queue up, we click on start, and we can see the targets are pretty big, which is fine. At level 200 it should be relatively easy to track, totally fine. Now we head out, adjust it to level 500, and we take a look at it again and see, crazy. Now they are a little bit too hard probably, but at least we see now. Now we head back out. We will probably make those targets a little bit bigger in order to have an enjoyable level 500 experience. And that's the first part of it. Now we go to the speed. The speed is already adaptive, but I don't think we want to do it. So we click on it and we set a constant speed of it. So the targets, independently of the size, they always move with the same speed. Now we move on to the adaption process. The adaption determines how fast or how precise you need to be in order to rank up, in order to level up. In our case, we have now the time pressure. This time pressure shows how fast you need to be in order to say it was successful, you level up, or you maybe just stay on this level. If we look at Paint again, we set up the time period. We have now the constant time. We can see it here. We have the constant time and a neutral zone. These 0.5 seconds mean you have 0.5 seconds to switch between the tracked targets. If I show it to you right here, we have now the 0.5 seconds, and if I switch faster than 0.5 seconds between them, I will level up. And if we are slower, this means we are leveling down, meaning we have basically two ranges. Like here, if we are faster, we level up. If we are slower, we actually level down. But we also have the neutral zone. We see it here, that right here we have the neutral zone. And in this case, we have it at 0.1 second. This means if we look back here, can make a gray area. Let's say the gray area, I think it fits, with 0.1 second. This means if we are in this gray area, it means that it's neutral. If you switch between and constantly having this time period, you won't level up, you won't level down. That's probably the sweet spot. That's the sweet spot where you struggle the most. Because if we constantly still level up and it's constantly getting harder, this means that the task itself is too easy. Simple as that. So we head back to the task. We've set constant time pressure and a neutral zone of 0.1. This means that if I'm faster than 0.45 seconds on each switch motion, I will level up. But if I'm slower than 0.55 seconds, I will level down. And the lower level task means it's easier for me to switch between those targets because the targets are just bigger. Moving on to the next part, it's the hyper adaption. The hyper adaption changes the incline and the timing of the adaption itself. We've now set it to 5 consecutive hits, which means if we go back to Paint and we go back to the level, we always want to reach the sweet spot. The sweet spot is where the person struggles. The person struggles up and down. It's not too hard. It's not too easy. If we now play a task for the first time, it's probably too easy. We always start with level 200, and level 200 is, for most people at least, too easy, meaning we are constantly leveling up. And we have like the slow adaption process without the hyper adaption. This means that even if I've played one time, I probably haven't even reached my sweet spot yet. However, we have added the hyper adaption, which is the fast progress. This changes the curve of this adaption. Meaning, if we have now 5 consecutive adaptions in a row, this changes the shape, which means we have a strong incline as long as we are hitting those consecutive hits. And at some point, it takes a turn and we are probably around this area. We can adjust it. We can adjust it to be very slow, hyper adaption, meaning we have to have 10 consecutive positive adaptions, or just 2. And if you set it up to just 2, this means that it's getting more volatile, meaning even your sweet spot can afterwards look a little bit more volatile up and down, which might lead to lucky rows, lucky tasks, lucky runs. And if we have a slow adaptation process, it usually is more linked to your skill rather than just a lucky hitting streak. So be aware. Going back to the editor. And now we move on to the last point. It's other, and right now it's just the duration. We've set it to 30 seconds. I think that's it. And now we test it once more and we can adjust a few variables. Just see, the targets are pretty huge. It looks fine on this level. Now we don't want to play everything through, because in the challenge afterwards it saves the task, but in the editor trial mode it doesn't save it. So we just skip it. We're faster. Okay, that seems pretty solid. It seems to be playable on level 500. We have a few... Whoa, okay. Now we can see it skipped a lot. It turned pretty small, pretty fast. So I think I will lower the decrease factor. Meaning I'll just increase a little bit. Shorten the something like this, maybe a little bit. Now I think the task is solid. I would say it's solid. So we click on publish. Now we set some name. We say hello YouTube. The tutorial task. Let's leave it like that. Actually just publish. And now it is published. Now we can actually try it. We go to community trainings, we go to my trainings, and I go to hey YouTube. It's a tutorial task. I'll play it. The start is solid. The box is okay. You see, there's a constant improvement, meaning it's a little bit too easy for me. Now we can see we've reached the sweet spot. So in this area there's a leveling off, meaning it's not too hard, it's not too easy, and I struggle. Right here, that's probably the zone where I improve the most if I keep playing on this difficulty. And that's about the task. You have now created your first task. You can now put it into your favorite list. You can copy the code, send it to your friends. They can put it into the search bar, find it, and then you can compete versus them. So just have fun with it. I hope this video helped a little bit in supporting you to create your first own task in Aimcademy. If you still have questions, just type it in the comments or just let me know in our Discord channel. Would love to see you there. Peace out. Bye.